Good evening, good people. Happy Thursday to you. Welcome to Pro Fan Talk. My name is Marcus Thomas. I appreciate you joining me. We got a lot of stuff going on in the world of sports with the Eagles, with the Phillies, with the Flyers, with PGA golf. Man, there's a lot of stuff that's going on. The gift that keeps on giving. Hope you guys had a good week. It is going to be lit tonight. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to go over. So stay active in the chats. I appreciate that. Rob, first one in the chats. I appreciate you, brother. What's good? It has been we have not had a restful week. When I say restful, I mean like the news cycles continue to just new stuff is every day. New stuff is coming out every day. New stuff every day. Vince, what's going on, dude? Every day. And we got Flyers news. I got to lead off with Flyer stuff today, man. Just about, I guess about a little over an hour ago, breaking news. John Tortorella is the head coach of the Flyers, signed a 4-year deal. So the Flyers were kind of at the bottom of the totem pole as far as Philly sports. Yeah, they were really sucking. But he's a guy, he's an old school dude. I know he's not as quite as unstable as he used to be, but he still has like an old school hard-nosed approach. So it'll be interesting to see how the Flyers respond to him. Because he's like, for those of you who can remember, he's got a very, very hardcore in your face. Well, at least he used to. Now, I really didn't follow when he was with Columbus. He was coach of the year, I believe, in Columbus. So, what's up, Steve? Good to see you, brother. When he was with Columbus, I believe he got coach of the year. So he still knows what he's doing, but he seems to have the reputation that, like, it can wear, his style will wear off on you. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So lot of stuff going on. What's going on, Brian? John Harvey, good to see you, man. It's hey mom. I just saw the thing. I was reading an article on Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin is the number one receiver with the Washington Commanders. And I guess he's not happy with his deal. So they're looking. The word is, I saw something that said he was looking at Indianapolis or Indianapolis was coming after him or something like that. And I would see that would be really kind of embarrassing if he goes to Indy, if he leaves Washington and goes to Indy, where Carson Wentz just was. That'll be very interesting / kind of embarrassing as far as Carson Wentz is concerned. So we'll see how that continues to go through it. I mean, we'll see what they do. He's their number one. He's been solid the last 3 years. He's posted good numbers, even when Taylor Heinicke was starting. Taylor Heinicke wasn't the best quarterback, but he still put up numbers. When you had the question mark of who's going to be your quarterback, he was still had solid production. So we'll see what's going to happen with him. I still think we're the best team in our division in the NFC East, but we got some things to do too. What's up, TK? So we'll see what's going to happen, man. A lot of time left before camp, and a lot of things can get done before camp. So, like San Francisco still in their situation with Debo, so they need to solidify that. And a lot of people, the kind of the word on the street is Um, they're not sold on the quarterback out there. If they're not going to bring back Garoppolo, Trey Lance, they're not sold on him yet. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Here in Philadelphia, everybody's been going hype over this dude, Devon Allen. Now, Devon Allen is a track star that used to play for the University of Oregon. He was a receiver out there, stepped away from the game. I believe he hurt his knee, I think. And because track was such a prominent fixture with him, he walked away from football so he can concentrate on track. Clearly, that was probably the right answer for him. But here he is, went to a workout, ran a 4.35, legit 4.35. Well, no, they said it was unconfirmed or whatever, or unofficial. I don't know what unofficial is. If you got somebody holding I'm not sure what makes it official. Does it have to be a NFL guy that's holding the clock to make it official? You know, stuff like that is crazy. Jake, what's going on, Jake? Jake, the first one on the board. What's up, Marcus? I'm going to agree with the poll just because of his speed, but Britton Covey could be a sleeper if Devon doesn't work out. That is true. That is true. Yeah, Vince, I saw his time. He ran a 12.84. I watched that race. But yeah, Jake, he's got good speed. He definitely has good speed. However, speed doesn't necessarily cut it. That's not the only thing that you need to be an NFL receiver. See Jalen Reagor. Jalen Reagor ran a 4.2. I know he's fast. And there's been plenty, I went to school during the time where James Jett was in college. And I ran against him at the Dogwood Relays in Tennessee. Ran against him in a 100-yard dash, and he smoked everybody. That dude was ridiculously fast. James Jett ended up playing for the Raiders, I think it was. And he was decent. As fast as he was decent. And there's a lot of other guys that went from track to the football field, and it doesn't always pan out. Speed means a lot. Don't get it twisted. But when you're playing receiver, you got to have more than speed. You got to have more than speed. Here was my quote. If you follow me on the Pro Fan Perspective, that's my Facebook fan page. This is what I said about him. I know he's fast, but can he just decelerate? Can he lower his hips? And can he come out of a break to create separation? Can he elevate? Can he take the hit, still come down with the ball? These are the things that an NFL wide receiver must be able to do independent of speed. Everybody in the NFL is fast, man. Everybody's fast. So you need a little bit more than just that raw speed. So I've heard a lot of people talking about Britton Covey. They're saying that, he might take the shot and be the kick returner special teamer. I'm looking at Huntley to take that role. But at the end of the day, we don't know. We don't know. I have no doubt that Devon Allen is fast as all get out. Sean, that's what I was trying to think of. Ronaldo Nehemiah. Never panned out. There's some more people that did, track guys that did, but Skeets Nehemiah was he was a big name in track. Huge. And not so much. I remember, I bet you can find this on YouTube. I know there's a video out there when it was probably on one of those NBC sports shows where they had the athletes doing off the wall stuff. And I remember, Willie Gault was good. I remember they put Carl Lewis in shoulder pads. And then I think They put him in shoulder pads and they had him run bases, if I remember correctly. Or maybe he did two different things. I don't know. All I know is they put Carl Lewis in shoulder pads, and it's like, you can't. Yes, Carl Lewis is fast, but Carl Lewis, runs straight up in the air. And then when they put him, if I remember correctly, running around the bases, he couldn't. Clearly, he never played baseball, so just rounding the bases was just a different thing that he had never done. So that's what it was called, Chris. Sports science. This was a long time ago. So, but there's some things that you need independent of speed to be able to be successful in the NFL, period. I want to see what Devon Allen is going to do against a defensive back, playing him man-to-man, that is just as fast as he is and 10 pounds heavier. Like I said in my post, can he lower his hips and come out of a break and still still accelerate out of a break separation? How he can get his top speed pretty quick. But if you've seen any of his races, he's a second half, he's a back 50 kind of guy. Oh, what happened? He's a back 50 kind of guy. He comes on the second half of the race and just his turnover is good when he gets over that hurdle and gets that feet down and gets his next one over. That turnover is super quick, and that's where he pulls away. But when you're coming off the line of scrimmage and somebody's jamming you, and then you got to adjust your path and you still got to get back on track and then break it down to cut out for like a 10-yard out when it's 3rd and 7 or something like that. You know all the situations you got to come across when you actually in a game. It's a whole different ball game. Not to mention, we have zero idea what his mental landscape is like right now. You can be honed in, staring down to the finish line on a track and going through your mind about the techniques to get over the hurdles, bringing the back leg and all of that kind of stuff. But when you run in a pass pattern and you got to go across the middle and you know that free safety is there, that's where the mental games come into play because he is in track shape. He is not in football shape. Two totally different things. Do not get that twisted. Football shape and track shape are two different things. He is 6 years away from the game. His body is not tempered for hits. Not yet. The guys that play every year got to get in the camp and they got to bang around to get your body tempered and used to hits. When you are running back and the first day in the camp, that second morning is always the worst day because you got beat up the first day and your body is sore and your body's got to get used to that pounding. That's what he's got to get used to. And he's been away from that for 6 years. Whew, that's a lot of makeup. That's a lot to make up. Somebody posted, we were making that argument going back and forth with some people on Facebook, and somebody was saying, well, what about Kaepernick? He's basically doing the same thing. That is true. However, Kaepernick was playing, and Kaepernick has been lifting, has been running, has been throwing. So I would say that Cap is probably closer to football shape than Devon Allen would be. And plus, Cap is a quarterback. Quarterback's not going to take that pounding every play and all of that kind of stuff. That's not necessarily. Neither is a wide receiver either. But a wide receiver is going to get hit. Quarterbacks not so much. So to me that's an apple and oranges thing. Yeah, you're right. Name brand. He might just be here to get in shape, getting ready for next year. But I don't think we're not in the right situation for that right now. The Eagles are not in a good situation to be doing that. I don't see, we're not in the situation where we can keep people like in the farm leagues. We got to get people that can play now. We don't need experiments. We need people that we know what's going on right now. So that's why, I want to see what Quez Watkins is going to do. I want to see what Jalen Reagor is going to do. I want to see what Huntley's going to do. Miles Sanders, Devon Allen. What's the big guy? I really want to the tight end, Kolkateta. I think that's his name. I want to see what he's going to do because I believe he was at Oklahoma. Was he at Oklahoma or Arkansas? Can't remember. I think he was at Oklahoma, but he was nasty. Big, great speed. I won't say great speed, good speed. Good speed for a guy that size. He's big. And he's another guy where if you throw him the ball, he should never catch a ball with his 2 feet on the ground. That joker should be going up and dunking with 2 hands on everybody because he's that big. And you're going up against these little DBs and slow linebackers. So I'm interested to see what he's going to do. Suo, what do I think of the new logo? We're going to get into that. Let me see. Uh-oh. I thought I had it up. Daggone it. I didn't reload it. It's fine. The new logo is fine. It's as a graphic designer, I understand what you're doing. In Philly, we recognize the name Eagles, that shape with the angled and sharp corners that spell the Eagles with the the surfs on the ends of the E's and the S's. We're used to that. But the word play with it, the reason why they do that is because I always say, if you're looking at a t-shirt, you got roughly 3 seconds to read it. And sometimes if you're at a distance, unless you're from Philadelphia, you might not recognize the logo. But when you see that word on a shirt, you can glance at it, know what it says, and keep it moving. So basically what that means is you can glance at it, know that it says Eagles, know that it means the Philadelphia Eagles, all in the span of about 1.5 seconds. So that's just brand recognition. The other stuff is not going anywhere. Fans won't let it go anywhere. You're still going to see people with those shirts on, but you'll be able to have the best of both worlds. So logo was cool. That's my little graphic design nerd rant. So Quez is so good we won't be able to what? Quez is so good we won't be able to pay him soon. We got to get his backup ready now. I don't know about that. I hope you're right. And if he is that good, why wouldn't we pay him? Because he could be that good, but that's a situation where worst come to worst, he'll be trade bait, or I'm not sure what his contract is, but if we got to let him go, we got to let him go. What's going on, Greg? All I need from Quez Watkins is for him to be good this year. That's all I'm worried about. We can get another receiver in the draft or a free agent. So I was curious. I don't know if that was a Sirianni thing where they were just trying to force feed Jalen Reagor to get him the ball, but I thought Quez should have been starting the whole year. That's a philosophy thing. I don't understand. In my opinion, when you're at that level, you got some people that need to play. Devontae Smith played every play if he could. A.J. Brown needs to play every play. Goddard needs to be in there every play. You saw what happened with Goddard and Ertz. Ertz was the fan favorite, but everybody knew Goddard was a baller. So it wasn't until we got rid of Ertz that we could see what Goddard can do. And in my opinion, we made the right decision in that. Ertz is still going to come back, sign a one-day contract with the Eagles, and he's going to retire as the Eagle. You already know that's coming. And he should. Rightfully so. He's one of the best tight ends we've had in a while. That could really, we got a wide receiver at tight end. So Goddard he has the same type of skills as Ertz did, but Goddard is just bigger and is a better blocker. So good for us. So then I start hearing about Jalen. So there was a picture that came out. Let's talk about this picture. So I saw this all over the internet. And they were talking about, look how big Jalen Hurts is. Like, he's jacked. Like, you can tell he's physically bigger. And I'm good with that. That just, everybody knows that Jalen is a workhorse in the weight room. He's that joker putting on 605, squatting 605 and deadlifting crazy stuff. He probably does work out with the linemen. That's how strong he is. Y'all remember that move? And I always say that's the move that solidified him as quarterback when he put the juke on that dude for New Orleans, that defensive end for New Orleans, and cut it all the way back and scored when we played New Orleans at home. That move right there, that was like, that's the dude. He's that dude. He's our quarterback. So I want to see the reason why this is interesting is because I don't know if people remember. It was Donovan McNabb's third or fourth year. I can't remember. But I believe it was his third or fourth year. When he reported to camp, he was jacked. He was big. And he said it. He said he didn't want to run as much, and he got bigger so he could protect himself in the pocket. And he was going to be a pocket quarterback. And that's exactly what he did. But I do remember that year where he did come back jacked up. He got criticized because he was putting a lot of his throws were at the dirt. A lot of his throws were low. And a lot of it was a lot of people were surmising that he put on too much muscle and it was affecting his throwing motion, which caused a lot of his balls, to go low, ankle and knee high. And then the next year, came back and evened it out. But I do remember that he came back jacked. Donovan McNabb's a big dude anyways. But I remember it wasn't as measured and tapered as Jalen Hurts is right now. Donovan looked big. He looked much bigger. And then all of his balls were going low. So I just hope that he doesn't have the same thing happen to him. But apparently he was working with a throwing coach, and that's the one thing you heard from his OTAs. His ball looked better. They're throwing out the buzzwords. His balls looked sharp, and his spirals were crisper and all of that kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, I mean, if you've been through all of that, if you've been through OTAs and rookie camp and all that kind of stuff, let me be honest with you, all that stuff don't mean nothing. When you going 7-on-7, you need to put the ball in the right place. OTAs is a good chance for your quarterback to kind of figure out who's who and getting to know your personnel, getting the feel for how fast somebody is, how slow somebody is, how somebody comes out of the breaks, all of that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of hype in the OTAs and all that kind of stuff. So I don't ever put too much stock in it. You can get a better look-see at potentials in the preseason. For no other reason than you're going against somebody else. So when we go down and we scrimmage the Dolphins, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Because then you are going where your wide receiver, even if you're going 7-on-7 or DBs and wide receivers are doing one-on-one drills, you are getting the gist for your wide receiver skills, your running back skills. When I say know your personnel, an NFL quarterback has to know the speed of every wide receiver. And I'm talking about the intricacies. He's got to know which receiver, A.J. Brown, I need to get a feel for what your fourth or fifth gear is. When you take off and you leave a DB, how far do I have to lead you? That stuff like that. That's where all of that touch come in. You got to learn how to throw the touch when you got these receivers. Because if you throw into A.J. Brown, your touch is going to be a lot different than if you throw into, I don't know, who's another super fast receiver? Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson, you can just throw it up as hard as you can. He will run and go get it. Tyreek Hill, he will run and go get it because he's that fast. And it's up to the quarterback to know what he's dealing with. So it'll be interesting. And speaking of, wanted to get into this a little bit. What's up with your boy, man? Did y'all see the Tyreek stuff? The Needed to Be Said podcast. That was funny. One thing I like to do on my Facebook fan page, and one of the things you hear me say all the time is I try to keep it 100. I like to go back and forth with fans because fans are smart. You guys got smart ideas, and you know what's going on. You know the game of football. But sometimes the mindset is like a fan. Not realistic. But in this case, I'm looking at Tyreek Hill. I'm like, dude, you got to keep it 100. You are not going to compare Tua to Patrick Mahomes. They are not on the same level right now. Not even close. Patrick Mahomes is an elite level talent at quarterback position. Period. Patrick Mahomes right now is my number one pick. If you're starting a fantasy team or whatever, Patrick Mahomes is the number one pick. Followed closely by Josh Allen. Not Tom Brady. Not Russell Wilson. So I know he was getting into it, doing the clicks and getting the clickbait, because I think that was like the first episode of his podcast. It was crazy. He's sitting on the lazy boy talking. He even called Drew Rosenhaus live during the podcast, which I thought was funny. And then, of course, they're talking about their perspective of what happened, what made him eventually sign with Miami. And I'm like, okay, that's one-sided. I'm sure there's a lot of rebuttal that Kansas City could have. And the one thing I just saw today that Patrick Mahomes, he said, I was surprised to hear what he said. So, I know he thinks he's a legend in his own mind, but it's like, come on, man. You're the most dangerous guy in the league with the most dangerous quarterback in the league. And you find a way to make it work. Not unlike T.O. and Donovan. Not as volatile, nowhere near as volatile as that. But ultimately, it's the same thing. You got two people, two elite level talents at their position, and they're not on the same page. When they are on the same page, it's magic. Even with the whole situation with T.O. and Donovan, the one thing Donovan said, and he said this on the air, he said, why would I want T.O. gone? We could have set records together. Absolutely right. But by that time, the bridge was already burned. That ship had sailed. So he's in the same situation. Now, Tua, I like Tua. And I'm very interested to see what McDaniel's going to do with him, because I think he's going to make some things happen. I think we'll see how good he is under, or was it all Shanahan? Was it all Shanahan making the magic in San Francisco? So that'll be very interesting. But you can't, come on, man. I know you're trying to pump your dude up, but pump the brakes, dude. You're not gonna put Tua on the same level as Pat Mahomes, man. That ain't nah. Everybody, why is everybody mad at the word mark? Trill, what's good, dude? Why is everybody crapping on the word mark? Dude, it's just the Eagles. The other stuff is not going anywhere, man. It's not going anywhere. I saw an article that said that was probably Christine Lurie that did that, not Jeff Lurie. But it ain't no big deal. You still gonna wear the shirt. Everybody know what it is, how we bleed green. It don't matter. Don't matter if it's a pair of wings or if it's a word. You bleed green, you bleed green. Everybody mad. Oh my God. Tariq is smoking that fly. Oh my God. Slayer 95. You killing me, Small. You killing me. But you know what though? Not for nothing, man. I will be watching the Dolphins this year. Because I want to see Tyreek Hill ball. Because it's all the pressure's on him. Because last year, I believe Tyreek Hill was hurt like 3 or 4 games last year, and the Chiefs didn't skip a beat. So it's on Tyreek to make Miami better. Kansas City has already proven if he ain't around, they can make it work. So again, Patrick Mahomes is that dude, and you got to give him props for what he's doing. So that'll be. I can't wait till the preseason starts, man. I'm ready to go down to Miami and watch them boys ball out and see what's what. And we can see what's what. So there's no misunderstanding. It's going to be difficult because one question I have for this year going into the preseason is how much is Sirianni going to let Jalen Hurts play in the preseason? That's going to be a big question. Because I don't want to, obviously you don't want him to get hurt, but you got to take your licks. And you want to get the timing and all that kind of stuff down in the preseason. So it'll be interesting to see how much Jalen Hurts plays. We don't get Minshew. We don't get the other kid we just picked up, the kid from I think Nevada. So I want to see that. I want to see what kind of offense Sirianni is going to run. Is he going to do the same thing he did last year? Like we came out for Atlanta and we put it on Atlanta. Up-tempo offense. We was moving the ball, ran a lot of hurry up offense. Jalen Hurts was dropping back, throwing the ball. Everything wasn't gun and pistol and, And then we did it that first game and we didn't do it again for the rest of the year. Is that on Jalen or is that on Sirianni? That's a Sirianni issue. So I'm very interested to see, especially with him not calling plays. So I'll give him credit for passing that off because the one thing people always forget, and you see this all the time, especially when you get a hot coordinator from another team and then they come and it's not the same. Because when you are a coordinator, that's what you're working about. That's what you're working with. You are a coordinator. When you are a head coach, you got to worry about everything. So your focus is shattered because you got so many things to worry about. You can't just focus on this. There's too many other things going on. So when an offensive coordinator becomes a head coach, you got to have a good assistant coach. Or you and your coordinators got to be on the same page when it comes to calling plays or calling defenses, all of that kind of stuff. What's up, sis? So I think he made a good decision. It's not like he's not going to be involved with the offense. That's not going to happen. Sean Young, we talking the same language, bro. You know how I feel about that. I want that Joker under center. Definitely under center. But what I was saying about Sirianni is he definitely, I think that'll be a bonus for him, not having to worry about calling the plays. He'll be, him and the OC will be on the same page. They'll know what's going on, but it's not Sirianni pulling out the laminated playbook and calling the plays to Jalen. That stuff's going to come from the box. So we should have a little more flow with our offense, and we should be able to do some things. And I would expect that our wide receivers are going to be a little bit better because Sirianni's our wide receiver coach. So he can do what you do best during the week. Game time, yeah, that's another it's another issue, like I was saying. So it's a lot of stuff that we got question marks about, but it's good stuff. Good decisions that have been made, all that kind of stuff. So just like we're talking about Gannon with his defense, but to make that point, Gannon calling the defense as a coordinator, Gannon's outlook is going to be totally different if he ever becomes a head coach, because you can't just concentrate on that. So we'll see what's going to happen. I'm ready to see them open up this offense. I'm ready to see Jalen Hurts put the ball where it needs to be and just quiet everybody. I need Jalen Hurts to pass for 4,000 this year. That's what I need. He didn't even throw a lot of bad interceptions last year, with the exception of two games, the Giants game, and I know there was another game. I think it was the what's the game we should have lost? Carolina. Game against Carolina, we should have lost. And he was garbage. But I believe he threw five interceptions in those two games. I know he threw 3 against the Giants, and I think he had 2 against Carolina, if I'm correct. So that's 5 picks right there, or at least 5 turnovers. And I know his overall for the year wasn't very high. It was pretty good. And you subtract 5 from that, so if he can keep that same progress up and not have those games where he just totally just beefs it. I saw a video today. They were talking about one of the worst games as a quarterback, and it was Ty Detmer, who played. He was with Detroit at the time, and he threw 7 picks in the game. But the funny part is they left him in the game. You got to be in the game to throw 7 picks. He threw 7 picks. They did not yank him. You don't have that type of leash these days. That's one of the reasons why I think a lot of the criticisms on Jalen Hurts a little bit unfair, because he was right on par with a lot of other quarterbacks in the league, but he was catching a lot more hell for doing the same thing that a lot of other people did. So it's one of those weird things. I keep saying, if Trevor Lawrence had put up stats like Jalen Hurts did last year, Trevor Lawrence would have been voted. He would have went to the Pro Bowl. He'd have been voted first team Pro Bowl, or in the running for Rookie of the Year or something like that. Guarantee he would have. But because Jalen Hurts was drafted in the second round or whenever, he doesn't get that leash. He doesn't get that leash. And it's unfair, but that's the It is what it is. So we'll see what's going to happen. I'm still pulling for the Birds. Obviously, I'm pulling for the Birds. I think the Eagles are going to surprise a lot of people. Not with the offense, but with the defense. I think the Eagles' defense is going to be top 10 next year. I believe that. I think we got elite level on the defensive line. We've got elite level players at linebacker, and we've got elite level players in our secondary. I still think, not sure who's going to start at safety. I'm assuming it's going to be Marcus Epps. Don't know. That's our only real kind of weak spot, and you can cover that weakness. Safeties are there for support. That's why they call them safeties. So I think we'll be okay. Our defense, Philadelphia is a defensive town once again. Gangrene is back in effect. The defense is going to be the leader of this team again. BG is back. When I was playing, Seth, Clyde Simmons, Byron Evans, Willie T, Eric Allen, Wes Hop, who else? Andre Waters. We had all of those guys. Every one of those guys was a leader. Our de facto leaders on that in the 90s. I don't care what anybody says. Seth was the leader of that team, the leader on that defense. It was Seth, it was Clyde, and it was Eric Allen. Those, from my perspective, those were the three leaders of the team. Obviously, Randall was the leader of the offense, not even Herschel. It was Randall. But Randall was not a real forceful, get in your face type dude. Seth was one of them dudes where if he was pissed off at you, you could just look and tell he was pissed off at you. But that defense still had that attitude. They were still coming off, that was the last piece of that gangrene defense. And they still had that Buddy Ryan attitude. And I think now, with BG coming back, with Kaiser White, he's a leader. Hassan Reddick is a leader. Nakobe Dean is going to be a leader. Slay is the leader in the defensive secondary. So right now, our leaders are Hassan Reddick, Kaiser White, and Slay. And BG is the de facto leader, but also Fletcher Cox, because he played all last year. But he's got to be able to produce this year. So we'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens. But we are a defensive town once again. Defense wins championships, man. So it'll be interesting. What'd you say, Sean? Let me see. Be interesting to see if they allow Jalen audible often. Yeah. It'll. I think, again, and I've said this before. People underappreciate the fact that Jalen Hurts is in the same offense for the second consecutive year. Like, I don't think people understand how much that means. You're studying for the same test 2 years in a row. Naturally, you're going to get better. So I think that's going to be his biggest boon for this season. And that's why, leading into I think Miles Sanders got to get quality touches, not quantity. He's not going to get quantity. Miles Sanders, every time he touches the ball, he's got to make something happen. Because with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and Quez Watkins and Dallas Goedert his touches are going to go down. And I'm going to hope upon hope that we actually have a screen game this year that involves our running backs and our tight ends, like a true screen game. So we'll see what happens. But our running back touches are going to be a little bit hampered because we got an elite level wide receiver. So as bad as people say that Jalen Hurts is at throwing the ball, we still had a rookie wide receiver have the best year for a rookie wide receiver in our history. That has to count for something. So it'll be interesting. Be very interesting. So now this week, something popped up, and I haven't been interested in golf since Tiger got in his accidents. There was one point in time where you knew Tiger Woods was playing on Saturday and Sunday. You were watching golf, even if you weren't a golf fan, a golf guy. If you were a casual fan, you were watching golf because Tiger Woods was that compelling. Much like if you were a baseball guy, when Big Papi was with the Red Sox, every time it's for a stretch of about a week and a half, every time I turned on the Red Sox, I saw Big Papi hit a home run. That's what it just seemed like. So it was like compelling. I wanted to watch it. I had to see what was going to happen. When Griffey was in the league, had to watch Griffey. He was that compelling. This is what's going on with the PGA and his Live Tour. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's fun to watch. It is fun to watch. You got these people, everybody's getting all bent out of shape because the Saudis have a new league and they are paying some cash. They are paying some cash. And the problem is the PGA Tour can't match it. Not right now. They're going to have to talk about them checks. Because even if I would imagine that if they really wanted to, they probably could. But Saudis are paying out stupid money. And they got the money to do it. That's all oil over there. So, and then of course, everybody brings up, the human rights violations and the things that they've done. They've done some pretty shady stuff. I know it was people keep referencing a journalist that was killed over there, and a lot of stuff that's going on over there. And it's like the point that a lot of people have been making. It's like, why y'all getting mad at golfers because they want to go play over there? Our government deals with them. And you mad at golfers for what? So, it seems like Greg Norman is the is the guy that's making everything happen. And didn't nobody, me right now I watch golf, but me as a casual fan, golf wasn't on my radar. Then all of a sudden you start hearing all this stuff about the LIV, and it's like, what is LIV? You start reading on it, and it's like, oh. And it's funny. The first thing it reminded me of was way back when the XFL came back, the first time. When the XFL came back, the XFL was paying good money. It wasn't NFL money, but it was better than Canada. It was better than the World League, which was going on. I played in the World League, so I knew what the money was like. The XFL was paying much better money than all of those other leagues. They weren't going to get the NFL money, and everybody knew that. But you can make a good chunk of change playing with the XFL. If the XFL would have played their cards right and just played football, they would have been the quote-unquote minor leagues for the NFL. It was looking to go in that direction. Same thing what the USFL is doing now. You got the indoor football leagues and the fan control. You got all of this stuff still going on. At the end of the day, There's going to be some kid that's out there catching in an arena or, in the USFL, it's going to attract some attention and is going to get a shot somewhere. It's bound to happen. But that's what this looks like to me. With the XFL situation, if Vince McMahon, because Vince McMahon was running this, and because he had such an ego, and he was changing rules and this, that, and the other, and, cameras in the cheerleading locker rooms, all the stuff that just did not matter. And he tried to put that WWF spin on it. And that's where it got ruined. If he would have just played football, in my opinion, it would still be around today. They were making money. They had decent TV numbers. And if they would just play football, you would have had a couple guys from the XFL make it to a team that lets everybody else know, hey, I can do this and still make it to the show. So that would have made it valid. With this LIV tour, the money they are paying over there is ridiculous. And the first thing they want to do is PGA Tour is getting all butt hurt because some top name players are going over there. So now they're trying to suspend everybody. And then, of course, they walked it back because now this is one thing, because I'm a casual fan. I don't know, is the USGA and the PGA, are they two separate things kind of working together? I'm not sure. But for a minute, I was hearing all these stories that the players that were playing in the LIV tour were losing their tour cards. They were being suspended just for playing in another league that's paying a lot more money. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. But I guess they're trying to protect their brand, and it's blowing up. It's kind of blowing up in their face because everybody's trying to poo-poo the golfers that are going to play. Thanks, Steve. They're separate organizations. Thank you. But I guess they work in, the same goal. But I know the USGA had a press conference and they said, we're not going to ban the guys that play in the LIV from playing in our tournaments. So I guess the USGA saw the kind of heat that the PGA was taking and is like, nah, we're not going, because we still need some of those stars to come back and play in our events so we can draw more people and make more money at our events. So I didn't understand why the PGA was doing that. It was just, to me, that sounded like, the old guard that's still in command, just out and out getting butt hurt that there's a new rival. There's a new kid in town. There's, just like my little graphic here, there's another pretty girl walking by and they ain't like it. But they can't compete with that cash. So you got Phil Mickelson, you got Dustin Johnson playing in the LIV. Let me read this to you, because Dustin Johnson basically just put the PGA in checkmate. I was like, that was so smooth, it wasn't even funny. Dustin Johnson resigned his tour card. So now if the PGA want to suspend somebody, he resigned. So he's out of the equation. They can't suspend him. But he committed to all, I think it's all 8 LIV tour events for the year. So there's no misunderstanding. He said it publicly. I'm going to do it. He resigned his card. I'm going to commit to this and give it a shot. He's committed to it for 3 years. He's getting paid somewhere between $100 and $150 million over the course of the next 3 years to play in these tournaments. $150 million. I don't blame him. And that's guaranteed money. It's not like you got to make the cut. I'm not real familiar on the rules and stuff like that. I still got to look that up. But it's I believe it's a 3-round tournament. It's not a 4-round like we do over here. So it's not like you got to make the cut. And then if you make the cut, you got to make the top 20 to get in the money and all that kind of stuff. If you plan in these tournaments, you getting paid, period. And that's where the PGA is going to have problems. And it ain't like they paying them chump change. They paying these jokers millions of dollars. They're making more money in the 8 tournaments at this Live Tour that they probably made in years on the PGA Tour. So the PGA got a problem. But Dustin Johnson, he's committed to all 8 events. They're going to pay him his money. He's over $100 million for the next 3 years, guaranteed. And here's where he put him in checkmate, right? They can't suspend him because he resigned. He's a Masters champion. So he's exempt to play in the Masters, in the Opens. He's going to play in the British Open. He's going to play in the U.S. Open. As a Masters champion, you're exempt. So you don't have to qualify. You're automatically in. So whether he, whatever he does in the LIV tournament, he's still going to come over and play in the American tournaments, and it ain't nothing they can do about it. Checkmate. I was like, that was dope. That was dope. He's getting paid between 120, 150 million to play in all 8 tournaments over the next 3 years. And I'm like, God bless you, man. Get your paper. That's the problem the PGA Tour's got to have. Because you got these kids grinding for years and they don't make the cut. They never get paid. Plus your travel and all that stuff is expensive. Traveling in the hotels and all of that kind of stuff. And then you could pay all of that money, go to a tournament, not make the cut, and you don't have nothing to show for it. Nothing to show for it. So it's all based on whatever kind of money you make as with your endorsements, what clubs you're hitting, how much Nike is paying you to wear their golf gloves, all that kind of stuff. That's where these lesser golfers make their money. And now they got an opportunity to make more money than they might ever make at the PGA as a career. Why wouldn't you take that? So that's a very if Greg Norman can shut the hell up for a little bit and just let it happen. If he can Greg Norman is running the LIV and him and the PGA don't get along at all. But now he's just doing stupid stuff because this guy, what's his name? This guy was Alan Shipnuck. He's a reporter that does golf stuff. Very well known, very nice guy, not a hothead or nothing like that. And Greg Norman had him kicked out of a presser at the first tournament. And he texted Greg Norman, and he showed the receipts of this. He texted Greg Norman, said, "Hey, you guys just kicked me out of the press conference." And Greg Norman responded like, "Didn't hear about it. I'll see what's going on." And then somebody took a picture of Greg Norman in the background when it actually happened. So Greg, makes him look stupid. Like makes Greg Norman look like an idiot. Like, why would you lie about something like that? And why would you want to kick the dude out? So it's that's funny. But as somebody that was not watching golf, now I'm interested to see what's going to happen. Now I'm going to check in with the Open that's going on now. I want to see who's winning. I want to see what Phil Mickelson is doing. Because that's where all the focus is going to be. Phil Mickelson and whoever else that's playing in this tournament that are going back over to the LIV. Because I want to see everybody's, giving their opinions and they poo-pooing it. And anytime I heard the one guy's statement, and he was, everything's got to go back to patriotism. Staying in the U.S. and it's America's game and you got to support it. And you're weakening the game and all of that kind of stuff. Anytime you got to make a statement about playing golf, and the first thing you talk about is how fast you put your American flag up when you moved into your house. That ain't got nothing to do with the problem you're talking about. You just wanted to throw that in there to get some, political foothold for stuff like that. Because there are going to be people that, try to, hold you to the fire. It's like, why are you playing over in Saudi Arabia? Do you know what these guys have done over there? And guess what? Is people, they got plenty of receipts from our government and some of the crazy crap that we've done as the United States. So that's a slippery slope. And you don't want to open that Pandora's box because there's plenty of receipts out there and we don't look too good. So again, as a casual golf fan right now. Somebody that knows golf but doesn't watch golf anymore. I'm watching. There's no such thing as bad publicity. So, however, this LIV tour is going to be televised, whether it's YouTube or something like that, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to check it out to see how the Open goes through the weekend. So they got a new viewer. They got something that brought me back just because it's compelling. And I want to see how it's going to play out. Because the one thing I hate is when I see the old guard wagging their finger at people when something new happens and they don't like it because that's not the way we've done it in the past. Nah, because that's always a problem. Especially when you talk about golf. We don't need to get into historic racism and privilege that comes with golf and Augusta and all of that kind of stuff. We don't even need to go down that road. So y'all, the last people that should be talking. So this will be interesting. I'm going to keep watching because, again, you got my attention. So I want to see if Norman is going to continue to shoot himself in the foot because he's got a legit product. They're paying. All he has to do, shut up, back up, and let it do what it do. They can talk about the history and the honor and all them other adverbs and adjectives they want to use to talk about the PGA Tour. But at the end of the day, if you got some young people in there that's grinding on the tour and they got a chance to go somewhere and make some real money so they can take care of their families, why wouldn't they do it? And you can't shame them if they make that decision. And it's always funny how the people that want to wag their finger, they're the people that's already made their millions. They're not grinding no more. They got the exempt cards, and that's why I'm like props to Dustin Johnson. He's a Masters winner. He's doing it's something new. So good for him. And he stated his views on it right from the giddy up. Not these dudes that are trying to play both sides of the fence because they don't want to anger nobody. And like, hey, if that's your decision, that's your decision. Keep it moving. The problem is the PGA, they reacted so knee-jerk about it, and it makes them look bad. It makes them look like the old dude talking about get off my grass. So I'm kind of watching it. I'm kind of pulling for the LIV to see just so the competition. If not for nothing else, maybe it'll make the PGA say, hey, maybe we need to start paying a little bit more, especially to these young guys and these struggling, grinding guys that barely making ends meet trying to go to all of these tournaments. Maybe we got to throw them a bone or something like that. They better do something because that oil money ain't going nowhere. It ain't like they're going to run out of it. So that'll be interesting to see. But they got this new popular girl in the classroom now, and they don't know how to handle it. They used to be in the center of attention, and I've heard people say they got the monopoly. Well, they don't. And that's half the problem. Now you got another viable option. And the response to it proves that they're not ready for it, and they don't know how to handle it. So we'll see what happens. That's going to be interesting. I'm going to keep my eye on that. So, but is it after 8 already? Yeah, it's 5 after 8, man. I need to get up out of here. A lot of stuff going on, man. I know it's going to keep going. We're going to keep getting news. We're going to keep getting breaking news, and we're going to keep at it, man. I appreciate everybody for joining me. Please, please, please join my Facebook fan page at Pro Fan Perspective. I'm trying to get it up to 1,000. Tell somebody about me. Smash the like button, all that kind of good stuff. We're trying to make this thing grow. If you got any ideas, any groups, fan groups, anything like that I should be in contact with so I can start building relationships and communicating. If I'm in your Facebook fan page, I will engage. You can ask me anything on mine. Ask me about the Eagles. Ask me about Randall Cunningham, whatever. I'll talk to you. So let's keep this thing going. I appreciate you joining in. Good show tonight. Appreciate everybody in the chat. And let's keep this thing going. I will see you guys next week. Have a good weekend, and we will catch you again next Thursday. All right? Peace. Have a good one.